Hey guys, it's your boy R's back at again with another video. It's been a while since I said that I was going to drop this account review, but it is finally ready. I had to re-record everything, so there will be some timestamps in the description if you want to skip around. I would like to say first, thank you for the 100 subs, but in honor of this being a sort of 100 sub special, along with it being an account review, I sort of want to give an introduction as to myself and why I started making content before I go into the account review. So, if you would like to skip straight to the account review, like I said, timestamps are in the description. If you don't mind listening to me yap for a little bit, that's what this first part of the video is going to be about. So initially, I'll say this. I've always wanted to have a gaming channel, but my primary channel before I end up using this one again was an anime related channel. I started that channel off as a gaming channel, and then I decided to randomly make an anime related video and the channel blew up. So I ended up making anime related content for a couple of years. That sort of sidetracked me from my original goal, and now I'm back here again attempting to salvage what little bit of my my gaming talent that I have left. I've played games since I was, I want to say, 10 ish, around that range. I've played a lot of games coming up. Halo Reach was probably my favorite shooter and was the start of me taking gaming even remotely seriously. I played that. I played Apex Legends and got really good at that. And that's what I wanted to sort of make my content around. Because at one point, I was really good at Titanfall 2. I was really good at Apex Legends. But I ended up getting into gacha games in 2017. And since then, I sort of put a lot of that stuff on the back burner. So I don't really play first person shooters like that anymore. I may play the occasional game of Valorant. But I started off playing gacha games back in 2017, as I said. And it's a lot of, it was a lot of fun. I've met a lot of cool people playing gacha games, and I decided to keep it moving with this genre of games. So I've spent thousands upon thousands of dollars on gacha games, which is one of the primary reasons why I'm free to play on this Honkai Star Rail game. And I'm going to remain free to play because I'm not interested in spending any money on these gacha games any longer. It trivializes the game. And for me, every single gacha game that I've put money into, I've ended up quitting. So, yeah, that's probably going to be how I proceed moving forward. I'm just not going to spend any money on this game. I'm well aware of the stigma for some free to play players to sort of take their, they say, oh, I'm free to play, and they sort of weaponize it and use it to brag. But the reason why I'm doing it is not for like bragging rights or anything, but solely because I've already spent a lot of money on this shit and I don't want to spend any more money on it. Don't want to trivialize the experience for myself and want to allow myself to evolve, I would say strategy wise, as the game proceeds without having to feel the need to sink money into it to get what I want. If I had to say why I started playing Honkai Star Rail in the first place, I would like to say that I first started off with Hoyo Games back when I was playing Honkai Impact 3rd. I would say that was like 3 or 4 years ago. Spent a couple $100s on that game, had fun with it, but ended up dropping it. And started playing Punishing Gray Raven. And then Genshin Impact came out. I didn't really play it. I got into it really late. I want to say a year and a half ago. And I had a lot of fun with it. The problem was that once I was like 3 to 4 months in, the game stagnated for me, and there was no reason for me to continue to play. I hated the gameplay grind, the gameplay loop. It wasn't fun to log in and play the game anymore. So when Honkai Star Rail was announced, I was like, I was skeptical of it because I play turn-based gacha games. My favorite one being Langrisser Mobile, but that was a completely different experience from the what Hoyo was trying to do with this game. So I was skeptical of it. But once I logged in for the first time and I started seeing a lot of QOL changes from Genshin being added to Honkai Star Rail, I was like, oh, Oh, that's what they're doing, huh? So I ended up playing Honkai Star Rail for about 1 to 2 weeks, day one, and I decided I wasn't going to play Genshin anymore. So I've stuck with Honkai ever since then, and I decided to use the opportunity since I was a free to play player, and I thought that I could get pretty good at this game. Actually, I would like to retract that. That's not the reason why I actually started making videos. So the reason why I started making Honkai Star videos is that I ended up getting annoyed by the main man Tech, who was talking shit about Bailu. At this point, I had seen so many videos of people disrespecting Bailu and saying that she was below Natasha that it unironically irritated me because Bailu was literally the first 5-star that I had, and I knew that she was nuts. So that's the reason why the first Honkai Star Rail video on this channel is me making a sort of jab at Tectone. Obviously, I wasn't being serious, it was just for shits and giggles. But I just wanted to show what Bailu could do, and then I made several videos after that, sort of showing what Bailu could do. So, basically debunking that she couldn't play through debuffs, she couldn't play through crowd control. I wanted to prove that that was wrong, and I thought that by doing it as a free to play player, it would give more legitimacy to my opinion. So that's the real reason why I started making Honkai Star Rail related videos. I basically am petty. That's the real answer. I'm petty as hell. So that's the reason why I started making Honkai Star Rail related videos, and then I sort of took it a step further and said, "Oh, let me make some Memory of Chaos videos," and it's primarily for myself and my own ego. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but I wanted to basically record my progress and document it from when I started off playing the game to where I am now. I basically wanted to give if for anybody who happened to stumble across my channel, I wanted them to be able to see like this is where I started off as a free to play, and this is where I'm at now, just to show how valuable it is in this game. Because I think being free to play and Genshin as a counter example wasn't that ideal to me. That was my opinion, and I just want to show like in Honkai Star Rail, you can be free to play legitimately and do very well. I think that moving forward, I'm going to be making some videos sort of discussing my logic into how I make teams and things of that nature. I mentioned that when I did my Robin summoning video, and thank you for 1,000 views, by the way. I wasn't expecting that to pop off, but I said I was going to make some videos talking about my ideas of how I come up with teams and things of that nature, and I am going to make videos about that in the future. But if I don't make them as timely as you would like, just understand that I have a job outside of this shit. I'm not getting paid to do any of this. I'm just doing this for fun. So that's what I'm going to be doing in the future. I just wanted to give a brief introduction about who I am, how I started off making videos, and how I started off playing Star Rail and making videos for this channel. But without further ado and enough of the yapping, let's actually get into the account review. Thanks for listening to my yapping. All right, you already know it's time to get into this account review. I'm going to try to go through this as structured as I possibly can. I am not scripting any of this. I'm just going to jump from my notes from point to point, and hopefully you guys get an idea of where I started at and where I'm at now. First, we're going to start with an overview of my account. As you can see, I'm 387 days active. I'm as close to as a day one player as I can possibly be. So then we go back and check the Carfax. Honkai Star Rail dropped on the 26th of April 2023. And if we go into Warp Tracker, you can see that my first pull was done on the 27th. So I'm as close to day one as I possibly can be. I'm not sure why I didn't pull on the 26th because I swore that I did, but it's possible that it released slightly earlier for the US, and that's the reason why I'm off by a day. Either way, no one really cares. But I just wanted to show you guys that I am as close to day one as humanly possible. Beyond that, I have 35 characters unlocked, 489 achievements unlocked, 730 treasures opened. I I think there's about 20 or so that I haven't opened up yet, so that'll probably increase in the future. But again, doesn't matter. Just giving you the overview. The first 5-star that I got was Bailu. That's one of the reasons why I started making content on this channel, was because a lot of content creators and just people in general were disrespecting Bailu. So my first video is me basically saying, don't show this to Tectone, basically trying to show how good Bailu is compared to Natasha. So she's the first 5-star that I got. She has a very special place in my heart for what she's been able to do for my account. And I do not regret building her for a second. I'm very glad that she was the first 5-star that I got, so that I didn't have to use I didn't have to use Natasha. That is the bonus of having Bailu early. Great 5-star if you do get it earlier. Legitimately, that's very good for you, because you're good for one half of Memory and Chaos, and all you do is get another one for the other half, another sustainer, and you're good. Eventually, of course, Bailu will be, you'll probably get like Huo Huo, or you'll get Fushuan or something along those lines in order to replace her, but you never know when you need Bailu. That's all I'm going to say. Compared to, and I believe this is from the last time that I looked, at the stats, at least on the Chinese end for usage, Bailu's usage was in the 20 something percent. Natasha's was 2%. So all those people making those videos saying Natasha Natasha is going to outlast Bailu, yeah, that take didn't go so well, did it? So yeah, my stance was correct from the beginning. I stand on that. Bailu was always going to be over Natasha. Anyone who says otherwise is bugging. The usage rates speak for themselves. So she was the first 5-star that I got. You can see on the 28th. And then for my Stellar Warps, awful. Awful. I got 2 Himikos or Light Cone, Bailu's Light Cone, and then the last one I got is Yangxing. Literally every single one of these coming via late pity. So it's not awful because I pulled Himiko and Yangxing. It's because they're all late. They're literally all like almost maximum pity. This is the only thing that I got early. It is what it is. Just wanted to show you guys that even though you've seen my Robin pulling video, you might have seen that, and that's the reason why you're watching this. That is only for my, the actual focus banner characters. My actual Stellar Warp luck is complete dog. Just wanted to show you guys that. For my light cones, like I said, I did win both of my 75-25s, but look at the pity. Not great, but at least I won, I guess. And then for my character warps, the first 5-star that I pulled for was Seele, but I ended up getting Himiko first and then got her immediately afterwards. So basically the exact same thing happened when I was pulling for Jingyuan. I was pulling for Jingyuan, lost with Himiko, did a 10 pull, and got Jingyuan. Sure. I then skipped Silverwolf, got Luocha, and then after that I basically skipped everything up to that point. I think I skipped Blade, Kafka, and D-Hill, and I pulled for Fushuan and got her E1. I didn't think it was necessary to pull for her Light Cone because I had TOM, which is Texture Memories, at SI5. Then I tried to be cheeky and get her E2 and failed, and got another Himiko at late pity. It is what it is, because I guaranteed my Jinglu, and then I got her at E1. I believe that when I was pulling for Ron May, when I was trying to pull for, I got Bailu in 29, and then I got both of these in the same 10 pull. After that, when I was going for Black Swan, failed, got Himiko. You guys saw that in the pulling video in like the first 30 seconds. Then I guaranteed Acheron as a result, got her at 75. And then you saw me win both of my 50-50s with Robin, and that's what's being reflected here. Just want to show you guys the Carfax in case anybody doubts me and is like, oh, that you didn't really win both of your 50-50s to 75-25. It's right here. I can't make this shit up. And then for my luck in general for my focus banners, character events, I thought that I was actually going to enter back into the top 1%. I actually dropped. I have top 4% luck now, and that's probably because of how long it took for me to get that second Robin. I had to go to max pity again, or at least very close to it. So I went from being top 1% to top 2.7. Now I'm top 4. But my rate of luck is pretty good, 29%. But my 4-star luck, not so great. I don't particularly care about that. No one really cares about that. But I would say that generally my luck is much better than most free-to-play players and most players in general. And the reason why I'm showing you all of this is so that you guys understand that every single account, especially a free-to-play account, are not all built the same. I have been very lucky and very fortunate to have what I have on my account. So don't compare yourself to me. Some people I've seen have absolutely horrible luck despite spending money. Some people have really good luck while not spending money. Some people have horrible luck while not spending money. It all boils down to RNG. For me, my character event luck is pretty good, but for my light cone and my cellar warps, not so good. That's the trade-off. But wanted to show you guys that just so you have an understanding. If you're trying to figure out what my sort of planning philosophy was, so when I got Bailu, and like I said, I already showed you guys that she was the first one that I got. My logic was, well, I want a DPS that is going to be able to. What DPS could possibly take me all the way into the end game? I saw Seele being able to kill a target, attack again, but the most important reason why Seele has never fallen off really as a DPS is because she has inherent res penetration in her kit. I was thinking that's something that could be used very far into the future, so that's the reason why I pulled for her. For Genuine, I wasn't really thinking to the future when it came to Genuine. I'm not going to lie to you guys. My thought process is I just wanted to be able to use someone other than Serval at that point. I thought his animations looked sick. Genuine is probably the only character that I pulled character event wise where I didn't actually need him. I just wanted him because he was cool. That was literally my whole philosophy. For most of my pulls, or the overwhelming majority, they're calculated. Like, I'm actually looking at the dreams ahead of time, right? And I'm able to see, like, oh, this is who I need. This is who I need. I don't need this. I don't need this. Genuine, I literally just saw his animations. I said, that's sick. I want him. That was my whole logic for why I pulled him. So that's the reason why I pulled for Genuine. Skip Silverwolf because I didn't think she would have nearly as much value as Luocha down the line. Like I said, I already have Bailu. I wasn't intending on using Natasha, and at that time I wasn't going to use March. So I said, I'm gonna pull Luocha. As soon as I saw dude being used in story, seemed sick. I pulled him. Got very lucky with that one. That I'm in 77. The reason why I skipped Blade Kafka and D-Hill was because I wanted another sustain that would be able to assist with the crit rate and crit damage. My Relic luck is horrible, and so I'm thinking about it this way. If a character can literally not only protect me from damage, but can self-sustain herself and give my entire team crit rate and crit damage, that lowers the requirements for crit rate and crit damage for my entire team moving forward, for my entire account. So that's the reason why I was comfortable skipping all of those strong characters for her to get her to E1 and guarantee it. So when you're a free-to-play player, if you are not doing this already, I know that you may not want to, but you should be looking at the dreams. You should be planning ahead. You should be pulling for what you need, not what you want. If you start pulling for what you want as opposed to what you need, that's how you brick your account. Don't just be like, I want this character. I gotta get him. I gotta have him. If you don't need them, and you know you don't need them, don't pull for them. Pull for characters that fill in the holes of your account, or fill in the weaknesses. Fill in for characters that will allow your account to become more redundant and make the things that are strong about your account even stronger. This is something that I've seen being a weakness of free-to-play players, where they will see a character that they like. They don't have anything on their account to actually make that character effective. And then they pull for it, and it ends up sitting around gathering dust. one guy, as an example, was asking basically anybody that would assist. Listen, I already have 3 quantum characters, but I want to pull for Kafka. Should I pull for the new 5-star Harmony Sparkle at that time, or should I pull for Kafka? I said, so you're telling me that you're almost close to having your mono quantum. You have Silver Wolf, you have Seele, you have Fushuan, and you're asking whether or not you should pull for Kafka or if you should pull for Sparkle. You pull for Sparkle. Finish your comps before you start another one. I will say again, finish your current comps, your compositions, your team compositions. Finish those before you start a new one. The dot path is very strong, but if you do not have the pieces or plan to get all of those pieces on your account, and you don't have what's necessary in order to make that effective, don't pull on it. Same thing if you have a dot comp and you're thinking about transitioning to a sort of crit rate, crit damage comp. If you don't have what's necessary in order to build that up, don't build into it until you finish your dot comp. Finish what you start, especially if you're a free-to-play player. If you spend money, you can really do whatever you want. If you're not, you have to finish your comps first. I think it's very important for me to illustrate that, so that's the reason why I'm bringing it up. Like I said, I got E1 Fushuan in order to build up the crit rate, crit damage, because after I got Seele and I have Himiko, I have Jingyuan, I'm focusing on building up a crit rate, crit damage, like basically just run over everything. That's what my account is built for, which is the reason why I went for Jinglu, because doesn't have crazy crit rate requirements. And I already have Fushuan that can give her more crit rate and more crit damage. So I was very confident in pulling her, and I knew that she would be good. And she has been great for my account. For Ruan Mei, I wasn't 100% sure whether or not I wanted to pull her or not, but I thought about it, and I was like, I figured that since I'm already building for, I'm already building for damage, she's just going to help me do even more damage. And at this point, I didn't have a 5-star Harmony character. So I went for Ruan Mei and got her E1. Very grateful to have her at E1. I went for Black Swan because I wanted a 5-star Shredder in anticipation for Acheron. I failed. But at least I guarantee my Acheron. And then recently I got my Robin, and the reason why I'm comfortable pulling for Robin is because she fits into the meld of my account where I'm focusing on building up my character's attack, their crit rate, the crit damage, and being able to abuse action values, abusing the speed mechanics in the game in order to allow them to do as much damage as humanly possible in a short time frame. So that's the way that I've thought about planning my account. There are some characters, like I said, that I end up just not bothering with, either because I didn't like the way that they had to be built, they didn't fit into the mesh of my account, or generally I just didn't like the way that they played. I didn't like their playstyle. Just wanted to have that as a disclaimer. If anybody is wondering how I sort of thought about pulling on my account, that's how I pull for my account. That was my plane of logic, essentially. Hopefully that's a decent enough explanation. So we're going to actually go onto my account now, and I just want to give you guys a quick reflection of my achievements so that we can see that really quick. And then we'll move on to the sort of builds and building philosophy of my account. Now we're back on the account. We're just going to check our damage really quick. Max damage that we have reached is 3.89 million. And then for farming, I'm currently at 667. Like I said, my relic luck isn't that good, so I haven't farmed it as aggressively as I could have. I also don't use my refreshes that often in order to farm. I usually save my J's for pulling only. So that's the reason why it's not as high as if, I spent money on the game. Free to play, I would say that the average is probably 500 to 600. But if you're feeling, a bit more spicy and maybe your relic look is better than the average, you might have, significantly higher than 700. runs by this point. Now that we got that out the way, just wanted to give a quick look-see into that. We're going to move on to the builds and sort of my build philosophy on the account. Let's move on to the next section. Alright guys, now that we're on to the final section of the video, I wanted to show you guys a cool tool from mobilemeta.gg called Honkai Star Rail Relic Score. Essentially, what you do is you enter your UID into this little box here, and it will pull all the characters that you have immediately visible on your account that you're using for supports, and then it'll take the relics and the substats and give them a score. Of course, all those scores are dependent on the weight system that is applied by the site itself. So as an example here, it says that Boot Hill's default weight is updated to speed, break effect, and physical damage as 1, and then break effect, crit rate, and crit damage as 0.75. So they're weighing these stats here higher than these stats down here. The reason why they do that is they have specific reasonings for why they do that for each character that you have in the game, and they usually put that here in the Relic Scorer guide. You can also compare your stats and your builds to other people in the leaderboards. They have Relic Optimizers. This tool here, their character analysis tool, is also really, really good. It basically gives you an idea of what breakpoints and what sets you might want to try for certain characters if you don't know where to start. And then also you have your Relic Score manual entry. So what I'm going to do is I just wanted to show you guys essentially how my characters are rated. As I've stated before, my relic luck isn't that good. So you'll see that when a lot of my characters are not rated that highly. But despite the fact that my characters are not rated that highly, I've still been able to do a lot with this account. I've been able to do very well in Memory of Chaos. I've been able to do very well in Pure Fiction. And to be honest, the only mode that I have any level of problems with are the additional simulated universe modes. And it's not because I can't do it, it's more so it's kind of a pain in the ass to do it. So I don't do it that often. But enough of the yapping. Let me show you the builds real quick. I guess we're starting off with Jing Lu. And as you can see, the relic score rating that she's been given is an A. Most of my pieces here are S, but these two pieces are sort of dragging mine right now. You guys already know I'm using an SI5 on the fall of an Aeon for those who have been watching my videos. And yeah, 47 over 210, 2600 attack. I've been using this build for the past 6 months or longer, and I have no intention of changing it. I might be able to improve upon it a little bit later on. Maybe I decide to farm for a better headpiece or better gloves. Personally, I think this piece is pretty good. It also has effect hit rate on it, but I mean, it's only 7.7%. But I'm just surprised that it's not considered an effective stat at all, given that her technique does need effect hit rate in order to be more likely to proc. But regardless, this is just Jing Lu. And then for Ron May, same deal. Also, A rank. Most of my pieces are S, or at least half of them are. The thing that sucks is that I try to get a better ERR here, and you literally use self-modeling resin to replace my other rope and still end up getting a horrible ERR rope. So, shit happens. You literally can't make it up. Like, this is a pretty copium piece. I don't agree with this being B tier. I think this should be A tier, given how much break effect this gives you. But I am going to be changing my build in the future because Ron May is going to be dropping in the future. They're bringing her back out for a rerun, and I am going to be pulling for her signature light comb. So this is going to change, and I'm going to be giving the memories of the past to the Trailblazer. That's the plan. Hopefully I'm able to do it because after I pull for that later on, I'll be pulling for Zhao Q, and hopefully I have enough pulls to pull for that and also to pull for Zhao Q. But that's my plan. No S tiers yet. Let's go to Robin, who I recently got within the past month. I got her E1 S1. Same thing, only ranked A. This set here that I'm using is sort of like a placeholder for the time being. I believe that another set is supposed to be coming out that is going to be more dedicated towards her. But for the time being, this is what I'm going to be using. This ERR is very good. I got lucky getting this. I actually was farming for an ERR rope, and I just happened to grab this, and I was like, well, definitely putting this on my Robin, and it's rated at SF, so I do believe that's fair. Another A rank here. Seele is the first S class that I have here. Most of her pieces are S. These two pieces here, this headpiece and this rope, I'm definitely going to end up replacing. I was hoping when I got this that it was going to go majority into attack percent and crit damage, but unfortunately, a lot of it went into HP percent. It is what it is. And the same thing here, I was hoping that most of it went into speed and crit damage, but I think it went once or twice into effect hit rate. Other than that, though, I do think this is a solid build. I'm using her signature light cone. You guys have seen the amount of damage that my Seele could do. And I think that she's peaked out. For those who don't know, I think that the highest damage that I've done with her is probably around 320,000 on an alt. We'll move on to Bronya. Bronya just recently got moved up to an S class or S rank. The reason being for this crit damage body that I recently got has a lot of defense percent, has a lot of effect res. Her ERR rope is of course I've had this for a very long time, a very solid piece, and then I also got this piece within the past couple of months as well. If you're wondering why I'm running her on two-piece thief and two-piece messenger, that is only because this is some these are some of the best crit damage pieces that I have. And I basically was like, I'm just gonna try to get as much crit damage on her as humanly possible. So I was able to reach essentially 240. It's not exactly 240, but it's close enough. But now with the addition of this piece, I was able to increase my effect res. I was able to drastically increase my defense. So I think that this is pretty strong. And I also was able to get her signature light cone recently as well, and I was able to max that out. Now, Fushuan's is a B ranked because I am building her not so much for to be just purely a sustainer and a tank. I also have built her partially for damage. That's the reason why I'm running partial break effect. The point being that any any character that I believe that can do damage should try to do damage. So because she has an ultimate that does damage, I'm like, okay, I might be able to do a little bit of damage with this character. Additionally, she increases crit rate of everybody on the team by 12%. So there's 46.7 becomes 58.7. And then also because I have her at E1 and I have the broken kill set on her, that's an additional 40%. So you're looking at 160% crit damage for her once she activates her skill. Of course, we're running a quantum piece here, a quantum damage sphere. But because the only effective stat per relic score is HP, it doesn't really rate crit rate. It doesn't rate the break effect. Of course, it's not going to rate the attack. She gets nothing out of attack. And because the site doesn't really rate, attack percent, crit rate, and break effect, that's the reason why you'll see that a lot of my pieces here, or at least two of my pieces here, are rated D, and then this piece is rated at B. My Acheron is the only character here that is at double S, and it's probably going to be that way for a while. I got very lucky with all of these pieces here, and I recently swapped over to the Izimo set because I've had this rope since she came. Basically, after she came out, I farmed for this set like within the first couple of days, and I got it like immediately. But I didn't have a good sphere to go with. I don't know why I can't get a good attack percent sphere. I can't get a good lightning sphere. So this is the best that I've gotten thus far. It's very, very copium. But hopefully in the future, I can sort of farm and get something that's better. And maybe this will go up to being double S. So that's the plan. But I am obviously running her very slow, but her crit rate has increased and her attack has increased from the previous build that I have where she had a lot of crit damage and she had a little bit more speed. And trust me, this build for me does a lot more damage than the previous build that I had, especially when with the advent of Robin. I was not expecting Robin to work so well with Acheron, but she does. Unfortunately, I can't show it to you right now, but I am still going to be dropping a video for my runs in Memory of Chaos. I've been so let me give context. I have started recording this video well over a month ago, but a lot of shit happened. So this is like a month later, and I'm still working on this. A lot has happened in that month, and I was able to do a lot of testing. So I want to show you guys what this new sort of build can do and how much damage it can output, especially with Robin. I will be uploading a video after this, hopefully on Sunday. This should be dropping on Saturday, basically showing you guys the type of damage that she can do. And then last but not least, I've got my Himiko here, who is E5. And of course, I've had her for a very long time. She's been around since the second week since I've been playing the game. She's the second 5-star that I got, the first being Bailu. I do not run her with a lot of speed. I was basically trying to get her with as much attack percent and crit rate and crit damage as humanly possible. And the reason why I'm able to get away with that is because of characters like Bronya, characters like Ting Yun, characters like the newly released Robin, and I can sort of get away with her having low speed. Essentially, I'm running her on a nuke build with her signature light cone. I also wanted to give you guys a short explanation as to my build philosophy and show you guys that despite the lack of speed tuning, while I'm still able to zero cycle in Memory of Chaos and do fairly well for a free-to-play player, the reason why I'm able to do that is very simple but time consuming. I practice a lot in Memory of Chaos to see what builds work best for me. A part of that is testing the bare minimum requirements for my supports and DPS to be functional, but I also test for the lowest speed values I can use without sacrificing efficiency. So if you notice my builds, which I'll show at the very end of the video, the highest speed character that I have is my Palo, and she has 148. I have no characters on my entire account over 150 speed. The average speed of my supports is around 134 speed, and the average speed of my DPS is like around 110. So most of my DPS are very slow, and the reason why you're able to get away with that is because if you have the right supports, you can boost up their speed and their damage in order to wipe out everything without having to take multiple instances and multiple turns in order to do that level of damage. I will, like I said, I'll be putting that at the end, all the builds that I have, so you have an idea of what those look like. And this site is very good as allowing you to visualize your builds, and it sort of gives you a objective look at your build. You can then take that insight and see where the shortfalls are in your builds. It's not perfect by any means, but having a tool that can be a second set of eyes on your account can be very helpful in some cases. Hopefully you guys are able to use this site in the future if that's something that you're interested in. If you're a new player, I definitely recommend visiting the site and just click around here, right? You click on a character here as an example. This, unfortunately for Ron May, I guess she doesn't have a build guide here to reference, but I believe that for Jinglu, there are, it'll tell you like, hey, this is your build progress, and here are the things that we're sort of expecting from you. And it'll tell you, recommendations, so on and so forth. And you can do with that information as you will. Now, personally, I don't agree with everything reflected here. I do not believe that she needs 70% crit rate. That seems very random. The maximum amount of crit rate that she needs is 50%, because once she goes into her enhanced state, she gets 50% crit rate anyway. So this 47% is realistically 97%, because she's going to be in her enhanced state like 75% of the time anyway if you have the right setup. The crit damage 150, I believe, is very, very low. I think that your crit damage should be at least 200%. I would say the most ideal ratio specifically for Jinglu is you want to have at least 40% crit rate and at least 200% crit damage with a bare minimum of 2500 attack. Bare minimum 2500 attack. And then for speed, depends on what you get, really. If you get some cracked speed boots, then you can run her at 134. If you want to run a cracked set of attack percent boots, you can run her around like 116, like I do, and she does not need anywhere close to 6,000 HP. Just not required, right? For speed, like I said, it depends on what you get. Personally, because I have characters like Brian, because I have characters like Robin, I have raw man. I don't care about speed. There's so many different ways that I can get speed without making her base speed 134. And one of the important things when you're building teams is if you are not able to get the best relics, you have to figure out what characters can be used in place of the crappy relic substats that you have, which is essentially what I've been doing the entire time that I've been playing this game. Find characters that I think will be useful and allow me to not have to farm as much because they're literally so strong. They basically make up for the fact that you have bad relic. So yeah, if you're new, definitely click around here. It'll like I said, they'll give you some hacks for some characters. Some characters have it, some characters don't. For for Sele, for Jinglu, they do have this stuff. Apparently, my build progress is ace, so the only thing they recommend for me to do is increase my speed to 134. But just want to give you guys an idea. So, yeah, moving on from this part, the only thing that I wanted to show you guys, I'm going to hop onto my actual account. And the only thing that I want to show you guys is essentially my progress when it comes to Memory of Chaos and Pure Fiction. I mean, as you can guess, I have everything restarted. I mean, why would I not? Right? Everything here is done. For Pure Fiction, I believe I would have to go over here. Let's go over here. And as you can see, I'm currently reflected at 6,200 points. I could probably get a little bit I probably get a little bit more points, but you only really need to hit 60,000, and then after that, you're good. Skipping over to Simulated Universe, the only thing that I have issues with is Golden Gears and the Swarm Disaster. I have everything 1 through 4 completed except for 5. To be fair, though, I really have not put a lot of time into these modes, mainly because a lot of it is like very RNG and cheese related, and I don't like modes where too much RNG is involved. That's kind of the reason why I stay in Memory of Chaos because it's a lot less RNG involved. Like if you build a character and it's able to do very, very well in Memory of Chaos, that character can do well effectively anywhere because that is like the truest of Endgame because there's not a lot of RNG that's affecting your gameplay. If a character does well in Simulated Universe, that doesn't mean squat because it doesn't really do well anywhere else for the most part. If it can only do well in Simulated Universe, the chances are that it's not going to do well in other parts of the game. So I haven't really built or pulled for characters for Simulated Universe. I always pull for characters or build for characters that allow me to do well in Memory of Chaos because to me that's my favorite mode. And additionally, I believe that it is the true end game of this game. Pure Fiction is alright, but again, pulling for Pure Fiction is to me a bit strange. Those are it's a very niche game mode, and it's not going to really test you or challenge you to the highest degree imaginable, I believe. I think that the only thing that can really give you the hardest challenge without having too much RNG or too many buffs really is Memory of Chaos. So I have sort of built my characters in order to do well there. And usually, if your characters can do well in Memory of Chaos, then they can do well anywhere. That has been my experience. But that's about it for the review. Hopefully, you got a little bit of something out of it. I just wanted to show you guys essentially what I've been able to do and what like I said, I do struggle with Simulated Universe a little bit, specifically with Golden Gears and Swarm Disaster. And if you have any questions or if you have any sort of, I guess, suggestions for what you would like to see in the future, whether it be sort of Memory of Chaos run throughs or if heavy emphasis on the if I decide to make content about Apocalyptic Shadow, if that's something that you want to see as well, just let me know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to send you guys over to my build section. If I haven't done so already, thank you again for the 100 subs. I greatly appreciate it. It's been your boy Ars, and I am out of here.
I feel like I'm losing hope in my body and my soul and the sky. It looks so ominous, and as time comes to a halt, silence starts to overflow. My cries are inconspicuous. Tell me, God, are you punishing me? Is this the price I'm paying for my past mistakes? This is my redemption song. I need you more than ever right now. Can you hear me now? 'Cause we're gonna shout it loud. Even if our words seem meaningless, it's like I'm carrying the weight of the world. I wish that some way, somehow, that I could save every one of us. But the truth is that I'm only one girl. Maybe if I keep believing, my dreams will come to life. Come to life.
이산에 예산 연이 escalaler la bouche de lait je me joue